We're speaking to Manfred Johannes, chairman of the local organizing committee of the World Conference on Non-Destructive Testing. This is a veritable World Cup of NDT, and it's going to be right here in Durban in April. Johannes, tell us what can be the reason why South African engineers should go in mass and take advantage of this opportunity to become abreast of world trends in non-destructive testing.
Non-destructive testing is one of the engineering sciences, and unfortunately in South Africa not much is done at universities. Many engineers don't know what they're missing. Many engineers don't know what is available. And with a world conference like this is an ideal opportunity to go there, to have a look what one is missing, to have a look what one is not doing optimal. And this is the big event. I mean, every 4 years the World Conference is held. Like in Durban, we've got 450 papers, we've got 150 exhibitors. The conference goes over 5 days, and that should be enough for every engineer to find something that would be of interest to him. Then what is absolutely important to the engineers is that the conference carries the continued professional development points, CPD points, which will allow them to claim the points for 2012 from the conference. The other very important part of the conference is the workshop on digital imaging, which is 2 days before the conference on the 14th and the 15th. It is intentionally on a Saturday and a Sunday so that the technical people who need to know something about digital imaging, which is used in radiography, it's used in ultrasonics, it's used in eddy current testing, to have a look at what is the real parameters that I need to know about to optimize the technology. It is always dangerous to buy technology without knowing exactly what is behind the technology and how this technology is going to affect my results, how is it going to affect my plant, how is it going to affect the safety. And this is an opportunity for everybody who works in digital or with digital equipment to come to Durban and to become au fait with what is going on.
And how many people are coming from abroad to this, and what will their offerings be?
Of the 150 exhibitors, 20 are from South Africa. The other 130 are international companies. And all the big NDT service companies, the big NDT equipment suppliers will be there. In addition to that, 900 people, between 800 and 900 people from overseas have registered for the conference. The one problem that we have is that we're missing the South African engineers. And it's our fear or our anxiety that they don't realize that it is on, first of all. And secondly, what has it got to do with me? If any engineer asks that question, he should go to Durban and find out, what am I missing? Because if you're not taught NDT at university, it's not necessary, or it's not proof that it's not important. And in South Africa we've got a slight problem in that the original equipment manufacturers, when big plants like Sasol, like the power stations were constructed, all the engineering NDT was flown into the country. The Alstoms, the MANs, the Fluors, these people brought the technology with them, and on completion of the projects they left the country, and we were left with technicians. And that left the thinking with the engineers that NDT is there for experts because it came in from overseas, and there's an industry looking after it. It's only half the story. The engineer needs to use the results, and he needs to know what these results mean and how significant they are. Where will it affect the calculation that he has to do for life extension, for life determination? How long can plant run safely without failing?
And just reiterate that importance of non-destructive testing, how this is the eye into plants.
Yeah, that's the only way that the engineer can get an idea of what is the status of my plant, how far is it down its life without breaking it. If it's still usable, after the inspection you can put it back into the plant and it can operate like usual, like intended. And yes, it is. In many instances, the people see it as a necessary evil. and they don't realize what the real benefit of having good NDT is all about, is that I can actually predict things. I don't need to wait for them to fail, but I can do calculations and say, here are the NDT results, there's the fracture mechanic calculation, there's the condition monitoring results, and this whole engineering package, which is called condition monitoring or plant life assessment, has got a very critical component, that's NDT. And if the NDT is not done correctly, you're limping. You're doing something which is not quite right. And I'm afraid that in South Africa, many industries are missing out on good NDT.
And there could be devastating consequences. I mean, we think of Eskom with all those turbines spinning. If one of those blades has a crack in them and they don't pick that up, I mean, we could have serious blackouts here.
Yes. Eskom is doing quite well. They've got a big section with metallurgists and NDT people. There is a very good core NDT capability out there. But they are working in a vacuum. They're doing good work for Eskom. They're doing good work for Sasol. But that's where it stops. There's so many other industries who are also working on turbines, who are also working on smaller plant, who are not using it correctly. And we need to take ownership of our plant. If you've got old plant running, the original equipment manufacturer wants to replace that plant as quickly as possible. That is very capital intensive. So we need to take the plant that we've got and extend the life for as long as possible, because that's much cheaper than to build new plant. Look at the capital expenditure program that is going on in South Africa. A new 6-pack power station puts you back 25 billion rand. That's a lot of money. But if you look well after the plant that is already in place and all of the plant is functioning, then you're winning, because you've got a reliable plant and you've got a reliable source of energy, for instance. Petrochemical industry, the pipelines, the rolling stock. One sector that is not doing well is the road transport sector. Lorries. How often do you see a lorry where the bed has broken in two and is standing next to the road? These are all things that can be inspected, and where a lot more engineering has to be done. But if the engineer doesn't know, he doesn't know. So all engineers, come to Durban, go and have a look what's going on, have a look what is available.
What about the mining sector? Are they taking NDT as seriously as they should?
In my opinion, no. They haven't got enough people employed to really take it as serious as they should. And we are working with them. We're speaking to them. We're in the process of putting an MSc degree into place for non-destructive testing, which will form part of the plant reliability condition monitoring non-destructive testing, to make the engineer at that level aware there is NDT and this is how you do it correctly. But that's a long road. You take 2 years to train engineers. And I would think that every shaft in South Africa should have a knowledgeable NDT person, because people do NDT on the shaft and only headquarters knows what they're doing. And we need to get down to that the people take ownership and say, my shaft must be safe. And in order to be safe, I need non-destructive testing. I need engineering. I need to put the results into a package which says this is safe or this is not safe.
And what would they do the NDT on a shaft?
On a shaft, on the headgear, on the winding mechanisms, on the cable. They're doing a lot on the cables, because we've got the longest ropes in the world in South Africa. And it's a nightmare. It's a difficult component to inspect, and the mines are doing their best there. But then there are other things like roof bolts, like, I mean, the problem is, as long as the mining industry is long, and a lot of things have to be done there. They are doing things, but I think the effort should be much better, much bigger.
And what can engineers do if they want to get to this opportunity of seeing how the world NDT is really shaping? What do they do now?
We've got a web page, and they go onto the web page WCNDT WC 2012-2012. We will show that later in more detail. And register. You can register for a day, you can register for the week, you can register for the pre-conference seminar. But just get there and have a look. Get there and listen to the papers. There are interesting discussion groups as well, like what is research in NDT? A meeting between engineers and researchers. Why are we doing research? What is fundamental research? Finding new techniques. Why is that important? But how do I do research and development work with existing techniques to transpose them into my industry, into my problem. It's easy to say, yes, it's off the shelf, but that's a small R. You buy it off the shelf. You've got to integrate it into the engineering, which means there's a massive D. You've got to do a lot of development work. And I don't see this work being done. And I don't see that the people take it seriously enough. The insurance industry in South Africa is also, I think they've got it too cozy. Because the insurance industry should give rebates for good NDT. The insurance industry should give cognizance of the fact, yes, here's a life extension program in place. These people know what their plant is doing, and give them the benefit.
That was Manfred Johannes, Chairman of the local organising committee of the World Conference on Non-Destructive Testing, being held in Durban in April, and his message is register now. All you engineers, take this opportunity. You have a state-of-the-art opportunity in Durban, and you have ease of registration, ease of access. A lot of people are coming from all over the world. You don't have a far way to travel. So he says register now, and let's South Africa benefit from your presence at the World Conference on Non-Destructive Testing, the veritable World Cup of NDT.